Christian, if this tax reform gets passed, will it change your outlook on housing in the Northeast? From the way I understand it, it could be very negative for the high end, especially in New York City and Connecticut. What's your take?
Yeah, that's correct. We've done two black books on this, 2 presentations. It is decidedly negative for that cohort. If you're in a high tax, high salt state with high home values, if you distill this whole thing down, from a legislator's perspective, it boils down to what's the pay for and who can we take money from, and it turns out that it's high income earners in high salt states where they have high property values. So it's not necessarily the top basis point or the top 1 or even 5%. It's the top quintile. That's the pay for. That's your 1.4 trillion in incremental revenue. So yes, we'll see how it plays out. It definitely has the capacity for some negative self-reinforcing cycle action. So if you take away the salt reduction and you have some out migration, so people say, all right, I don't want to pay this. My housing values are under pressure. Maybe I'm going to leave. So now you have some out migration from these states. Now you have a lower tax base, just as benefit obligations and retirement obligations, pension obligations are ramping, so that puts the state in a worse position. You also don't have a subsidy for local tax deduction, so the only way that the state and local governments can plug the gap is by raising taxes, and you can see how this kind of reinforces negatively. The short answer is yes. But it is a case of, and it will probably be a case of kind of concentrated harm and diffuse benefit in terms of the benefits you see if we're talking about housing specifically, and how that may manifest in lower home value non-salt states and in housing demand there, both organically from people maybe taking home after tax income increasing, and then from over time. And this isn't going to show up on January 1st if this thing gets passed. This is kind of a multi-year process if we see this cycle actually play out. But if you see more migration and population shift to southern low tax states, that's where your benefit will be.
Yeah.